Hey guys, welcome to Lone Wolf 902. I just got back from an overnight camping trip with a buddy last night. I filmed a little bit of it. We built survival shelters and did a long fire and stayed the night in that, and a bit of cooking, and it was a lot of work. So I filmed a little bit of clips, some of it, and before I knew it, it was dark, so I really didn't get a whole bunch of film. But I'm going to go ahead and roll some of that footage so you guys can at least see what we were up to and see a little bit of what we're doing. And then after that, I'm going to get into the title of this video, which is What's in My Bushcraft Kit. So have a look at that, and I'll be back. Yeah. All right. Hey, what's going on, guys? So I'm out here with my buddy Jason. We're just clearing out a spot right now. Gonna do a bushcraft camp out. Getting this area shoveled out. We're gonna get some boughs and get the shelter built. A little bit snowy. I think that'll do.
I think so. Yeah. Drag it up and then cut it?
Yeah. Figure might as well measure it.
That's all I want. You need to dig too much for it.
But you shot it out on camera.
Ooh, golden. Yeah, I like beer too, but I just don't want to carry the weight. So
That'll kick you in the ass.
oh yeah, that's more.
That's Dickel, number 12.
Oh, okay.
And Jack Daniel's bottom.
Yeah.
Wonder if you come back under. Yep. And then come over diagonally. And then come under and start, and really crank it in there. And then come back over that tag end. Yeah, try lashing that in there nice and tight. And it's not load supportive. Stuff's going to be leaning on it, but we can always reinforce it later.
Yeah, you might want to tie this one.
Okay, so we're just in the middle of building shelters. Been busy, haven't really said a whole lot yet. Take you guys inside and show you. This is Jason's shelter over here. Looking pretty good. Ribs up, still need to fill in this section here. And we're talking about filling this wall in. I got my shelter over here. I still got to button up this end. Got to button up this end. I fill a couple holes in. And we're going to have a long fire right here. Pretty big shelter. Got some snowmobiles and stuff in the background. You guys can hear that. Yeah, so I'll give you guys another look real quick and we're going to get back to work. We've got my wall here. His shelter wall. A little bit of an aerial view. So we're looking pretty good. Like I said, we're going to get some more spruce boughs, get them all cut up, and fill in some of these sections and start getting some firewood for the night.
There should be plenty.
Oh yeah, got a lot off that tree. So, shelters are just about done. We're stopping halfway through right now. We're using Jason's stove here to cook up this coffee. A quick coffee break, and then we're gonna head out and get some firewood. Gonna load this guy full of some wood. Oh yeah, a stick in there. Well, we're cooking water now.
Yes, we are.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah.
Sunshine.
Come on.
Yeah. Some bushcraft gear going on. That walk's big. Alright, so we're done coffee and just kind of walking around looking for some firewood. A couple trees here and there, not a whole lot. But yeah, we're going to poke around and get some of this stuff cut up, and then we're going to light a fire and start on supper. Have a look at some of the beer we got going on tonight. Got some IPAs, some porters, a little bit of whiskey. So light. Save that for the morning, maybe. Yeah, that's warm. Starting to steam. Should give us enough coals for supper. Whew. All right. So, a little hard to see. So we got a big pot of chili on right now. We'll cook that, and we're going to enjoy that. A little dark out. We got a beer on the go right now, and yeah, we're going to sit back and cook this and enjoy the fire. Alright, so I got all my stuff laid out here. My pack's all emptied out, and I got my main items that I take on my bushcrafting trips. There is a couple of things that I'm missing. One is my saw. I usually have a bow saw. I didn't bring that out today. And the other is optional, is a synthetic mummy sleeping bag. The other forms of insulation that I use, I do have here today, and I'll go ahead and I'll show those to you. So I'm gonna take the camera and give you guys a quick little pan of what I got, and then we'll get into each and every item individually. Okay, so here's a quick little shot of what I got going on. First item, my backpack, as you guys can see. The second item, I have my Sil Nylon tarp, which is the original Hennessy hammock tarp, the diamond tarp. I then have my military quilted blanket, and I have one wool blanket under here, which is a really thick wool blanket, and then I have another wool blanket which is on top here. So these three items, the quilted blanket plus these two wool blankets, are in my previous video on winter camping insulation, so have a look at that video if you guys want to see a little bit more detailed look in those. Next, I have my One Tigress tarp tent. This is a tarp tent that I used in a previous video with my ammo can stove. So that's the Coyote Tan one. Moving over here, I got a pair of lightweight Real Tree gloves, which are nice just for taking the chill off hands. I got some cordage, I got a knife, I got my GSI pot, I got a leather pouch with items, I have my cup, I have a little bit of hand sanitizer, spoon, frying pan. I got some noodles over here that I'm going to cook up later on. I got my thermos. This is the bag for my pot. And I got another bag, another leather pouch. Got a couple knives here, you guys can see. I got my main hatchet, and then I got my small woodworking hatchet. Multi-tool, fire steel, another leather wrap. Got some jute twine cordage, which I use for fire lighting and crafting. I have my schmog. I got, this is all my guy lines that I have individually cut. I just wrap them all together with some Velcro. I got a leather set of, or a pair of leather gloves for cooking. And I got another pair of insulated gloves for when it's real cold out. So now I'm gonna get some water on the fire because it is cold out, and the first thing we're gonna jump into is my coffee kit because I want a coffee. I've gone ahead and put my pot of water on the fire, and I already put some gloves on. As you can see, it is frigid cold out today and windy. I'm back in a location where I've done lots of videos. I'm not deep in the woods. Like I said, I came home from a camping trip. Didn't even unpack my gear. I jumped in the shower, got a quick shower, said hi to the family, and I wanted to get out and do this video to kind of tie in with my camping trip. So I had a lot of fun on that camping trip. I haven't gone out with someone camping for quite a while, so we ended up building bushcraft shelters, which you guys would have seen in the previous clips. And it took a lot of work, it took a lot of time. It was a lot of fun though. I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed myself, and by the time we were done with the shelter building, we were both really hungry, and I made up a big pot of chili. That took probably about 2 hours to cook. And just with all the work, and we're talking and having fun, I just decided to put the camera away and call it quits. So I took one for me this time, and I really enjoyed it. I needed that. So let's get into this video. The reason why I'm going to show this to you guys is I have a multi-night trip. I'm thinking I'm going to do 3 nights out in the bush, and I'm going to be bringing my bushcraft kit. I haven't done bushcrafting for quite some time. I've been more into hammock camping and moving around, doing a few things like that, and I really enjoy bushcrafting, and I enjoy making things and having fun, and I decided I'm going to go ahead and build my own bushcraft base camp, and then I'll be able to do a lot more filming at that location, and do some overnighters, and yeah, just have a nice set to kind of do that stuff at. So I know I'm going to get asked what's in my kit, so I'm just going to go ahead and get it out of the way right now, show you guys what's in my kit, and then by the time that video comes out, today I believe is March 15th. I could be wrong. I have no idea. Anyways, from when this video goes up, it'll be another week and a half to possibly 2 weeks when I'll be doing my 3-night camp out. So stick around and check out that video when it comes out. I'm sure it'll be a good one. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys, first of all, like I mentioned, my coffee kit. So what do I take when, what do I bring for coffee? Well, I got my cup, which you guys have seen before. It's a double wall cup. It used to have a carabiner on it. I ended up taking the carabiner off, and I've been using this for a long time. So, go ahead and put that on my frying pan so I don't get snow all over everything. Got my spoon, not very bushcrafty, more of camping. I don't have any more of my wood spoons left. The last one I carved, I ended up giving to my girlfriend for a gift. So that's hers. But I have that for now. So, my leather pouch. Got a jute twine for the string. And I'll bring you guys in for a close-up of this in a minute, but I'll just get it open and show it to you. Open the pouch up and bring you guys in for a closer shot. So I'll do this with one hand here. So I've got this little piece of leather that's on top just to keep everything kind of from falling out. So what do I got in my coffee kit? At the very bottom there's a piece of 60 grit sandpaper I use for, it's a sanding disc that goes on an electric sander. I use that for knocking off quite a bit of material when I'm woodworking and whatnot. So I keep my coffee in these glass vials with screw tops, and then I have a smaller container which has sugar and a little bit of whitener in it if I'm feeling like it. So I got 4 coffees. Each of these are a tablespoon of instant coffee, Nescafe I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and make up one coffee right now. You need one of each: coffee, sugar, and whitener. So now I've got a nice hot coffee made. And empty vial. Just go ahead and put those back in the leather pouch. Haven't had any issues with these breaking. I usually don't slam my bag down real hard. And it's wrapped in leather, so a little gentle on it. Oh, that's a hot one. Alright, so that's the coffee kit that you guys just saw. I'm going to set that off to the side. Here's some cars in the background on the road. Apologize for the noise, but it is what it is today. Let's see option number 2, which is kind of closely related. This is my spice kit. Little leather pouch, it's all wrapped up. Bring you guys in for another close-up on this. So, working with one hand again. This is my spice kit that I have, made of leather, just like the last kit. A little bit of shorter glass vials, but the same kind of idea going on here. So, my main spices that I carry that are with me all the time happen to be, here I got some pink sea salt, I got some black pepper, I have some garlic powder, I have some Italian seasoning, and I got some Montreal steak spice. And these are my 5 main spices that I'll take every time with me. And I also have another little kit, which I'll show you right here. So this is a little drawstring bag. So inside of the drawstring bag, I kind of used all this up last night making the chili out of my camping trip, but this is chili powder that I brought. These are dried chili flakes. And then I have some cayenne pepper, just for a little spice kick. So that's my main spice kit. And all these containers, I used to have the small ones in here, and they kind of fit in flush, which is really nice. And if I'm going on a camping trip where I don't need a lot of spice, sometimes I mix them up. But for the most part, go ahead and slip these guys back in here, and they fit nicely. So that's my leather spice kit. Moving forward, this is my tool pouch. like general maintenance, couple small things. I'll go ahead and dump it out and show you guys. So inside of this drawstring pouch, first of all, I got some fine grit sandpaper that I use for spoon making, whatnot, whatever I'm doing at the time. I got a little bit of steel wool, which I use for maintenance on tools, whether it be getting rust off of stainless steel or a knife or whatever I need it for. I have a backup fire steel. This guy's seen quite a few fires, so I got that. I have a sharpening stone, which I use for my knife, I use for my hatchet sometimes, so always need some kind of sharpening device. I have some cotton material that I use for my char cloth making. I always keep a little bit of that, and it works as a little rag for working with tools. I have this one's interesting. I have the disk from a hard drive out of an old computer, and what I use this for is a mirror. Probably see the camera and the reflection. I use this for a mirror, and also it's like one of those signaling mirrors. If you look through, if you're holding this up to your face, so like I said, it's a mirror, but if I hold this up and I look through the hole, and let's say there was an aircraft up in the sky, if I put the airplane in the middle of the hole and rock it back and forth, it'll actually flicker light at the aircraft. So I can kind of do one of these guys, and it works as a good signaling device. That's an interesting item that you probably won't see in a lot of people's kits. What else do I got in here? This one's also interesting. This is a pencil sharpener, an all metal pencil sharpener. This I use for if you have little twigs and you want to make really fine shavings, and it's great for beginners too. If you're not real good with a knife making feather sticks or whatnot, you can just put some sticks in there and twist away and make yourself some nice little fine shavings. So those are useful. They also work for making like little tent pegs or skewers or anything that you need fine work. So that's another little bonus item. I don't use it often. I got a little bit of steel wire, snare wire for hanging pots, whatever I need it for. I have a magnesium block with a little bit of jute twine on it, so you can shave off little chunks of magnesium if you want to mix up how you're lighting your fires. That's sometimes fun to mess around with. And I got a block of paraffin wax. I use the paraffin wax for two main reasons. For one is waterproofing gear. I'll rub it into whatever, like my hat or some canvas, and then melt it in over the fire to waterproof. And I also use it for my axe head. When I'm done maintaining my axe, sharpening it, I'll rub this into it and heat it over the fire, and that way my axe doesn't turn into a big rust ball overnight when it's wet. That's an interesting item. I like that. And then in here I got this little leather pouch, and I got a hole punch. So one of those hammer type punches. It's a 3/16 size, which works good for using jute twine for making stuff out of leather, out of birch bark, whatever you need to punch a hole in and run some cordage through. I keep one of these punches with me. Here are those items again I was telling you about. There's the punch, sharpening stone, wire, steel wool, extra fire steel, sandpaper, cloth for char cloth, pencil sharpener. You guys can see yourself again. That's the hard drive. Magnesium block, wax. I think that's everything. Next item we're going to have a look at is another drawstring pouch. And inside of this drawstring pouch, not going to get real into this one. I have a foldable toothbrush that I take with me. I got my fancy beard comb, my little orange string. I have a little tube of toothpaste, which is almost empty. Got some nail clippers, and I got a little container of moisturizing cream. If you noticed, with my gloves off, I have black hockey tape on my fingers. In the wintertime, my fingers tend to crack a lot, and it's absolutely unbearable. So I take moisturizing hand cream with me and wrap hockey tape around it to stop them from cracking. So, put these items back in here. Those are pretty straightforward. So, just put them in a nice little natural looking pouch. I'll toss that off to the side. So, inside of this leather pouch. Again, I got another little leather circle that I cut to hold everything in. So right here is a tin that used to hold pellets for air rifles, and a little hole on top. This is what I use for making my char cloth. Right now it's currently full of char cloth that I made last night. So that's one item. The other item, I have a little sewing kit. So I got this wine cork, and I've gone ahead and put 3 needles in there. So I'll lay that out. I got another large needle that I use for jute, leather straps, whatnot. Speaking of which, here's jute twine. So I keep that there for a little bit of maintenance. I have these water purification tablets that I decided to throw in here. I have a wooden spool that I carved, and I got a generous amount of thread on there, and it's heavy duty thread, so I can do maintenance repairs to my gear. And then this guy is a syringe needle. I use that for removing splinters and popping blisters, metal shaving stuck under your skin. These things are excellent, they're extremely sharp, and it comes with a nice little cover, so pretty safe carrying around. So that's my little sewing kit, I guess you could say, but keep everything in the leather pouch, and I'll pack this up and move on to the next item. So while I'm at it, I decided to go ahead and open up this last pouch. It's the same little drawstring pouch as the last one you saw, except inside of here I keep my tea bags. So I got some ginseng tea with ginger root, which is great for upset stomach if you have any issues with that. And then I got my jasmine green tea. So I got 2 bags of each, and these are the 2 teas that I take with me to mix it up, because I don't really want to sip on coffee all the time. So these are nice in the mornings, and maybe even in the evening sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one down low out of the smoke. So like I was saying, this is all my pre-cut and pre-tied guy lines that I use for my tarp for when I'm hammock camping or setting up other tarp configurations. So I keep these all bundled together with this piece of Velcro. So not really a whole lot to say about that. That's what that is. Next piece of cordage. These 2 are the same actually. So this is just some standard cord that I use for bushcraft tying, like building bush shelters and whatever I need to tie. If I needed to hang my bag up in a tree because I'm in an area with a lot of wildlife. Just general cordage. So go ahead and get that out of the way. Next are 2 of my more favorite kinds of cordage. This is a heavier jute rope, and this is just just basic jute twine. I use both of these for fire lighting. I also use them for making little traditional craft items. I do a little bit of handle wrap with it. Drawstrings for my leather pouches and whatnot. And yeah, that's pretty much that. I can also use it for hanging pots over the fire. A little bit heavier, a little bit lighter. So 2 options. Sticking with traditional items. So that's what those are. Now the smoke subsided, I can change angle. Alright. So, I got this little guy. This is just a little tin that I have full of tree sap. So I've gathered up all those little pimples on the side of pine trees and whatnot, went around popping them, collecting it with my knife, and this is full right to the top of tree sap. So I use that for fire lighting. I can make pine pitch glue out of that as well, and there's many uses you can use it for, but that's what's inside of this. Here I have a leather wrap, and inside of it is a file. So I'm not gonna go ahead and open it and wrap it all up, but basically it's an older style. You see the tip of it kind of poking out there a little bit. It's a file that I use for bringing back the edge on my axe, or my hatchet right over here. If I really bang up the edge on it and really needed to do a good repair, this is what I'll use to bring the metal back to where it needs to, and then I'll use my sharpening stone, like I showed you earlier, to finish off the edge. So that's my file all wrapped up. Also, the inside of this leather I oil. So I'll put a little bit of gun oil in there where it is a high carbon steel file, it's pretty prone to rust in damp environments, so that's why I keep this guy wrapped up. So we'll get that off to the side. Next, I have a general multi-tool. It's got a can opener, screwdriver, and all pliers. Not really a whole lot to say about that other than it's just a good multi-tool to have. So, fire steel. Not going to say anything about that. Just a fire steel. Now we're going to get into some cutting tools. Bring these a little bit closer. Well, first of all, flashlight. So here I got a Dorsey small flashlight. I believe it, I want to say 300 lumen. Nothing too crazy, but I got this. And I also bring, I don't think I have it here with me, but a small headlamp that I use in my videos with the red light so I can kind of film myself at nighttime without blinding myself. I have that. And we might as well get into this stuff up here. I got two pairs of gloves, I should say. This is one pair that I wear, quite heavy. Warm my hands while I'm walking or just sitting around and whatnot. So I got those. And then I got my really thick leather cooking gloves. So I use these for cooking over the fire, open flame, so I'm not burning my hands anymore. So those are nice. And so now, moving pretty quick through this stuff, we'll get into the axe. So, or the hatchet I should say, cutting tools. So this is my short hatchet. I want to say it's probably 14 to 16 inches long. No special brand or nothing, just a generic hatchet that I got. Did a little bit of file work on it. A little bit of decoration, whatnot, nothing too crazy. Got a little lanyard on it. That's my hatchet that I use for knocking off quite a bit of material if I'm, making spoons or bushcrafting or chopping up wood, whatever. So, generic hatchet. Here I have more of a whittling hatchet. So like I said, there's jute twine for the wrap. Got a little bit of a leather sheath here. Go ahead and take it out. So this hatchet is razor sharp. I bring it down to, I believe, a 17 degree on the edge. So it's very, very, very sharp. I could choke up on it really well. I don't remember the actual brand of this or where I got it from. I've had it for a very long time. And the handle used to be wrapped with like paracord stuff. Not legit paracord, but some cheap paracord. And kind of took it off, looked like crap, didn't like it. So I went ahead and wrapped it with some jute twine, give it a little bit of authenticity. Very sharp, not very heavy, got a real good feel to it. And like I was saying, I could choke up on it real well. So I can hold it like this in my hand, and I can actually do a bit of cooking, maybe cleaning, game, preparing meat. I use it mainly for knocking off, like if I'm whittling, if I'm making spoons, I keep coming back to that. If I'm carving spoons or if I'm carving any kind of woodworking that I'm doing, this works really, really well. I got the big hatchet, which works for a lot of heavier, removing a lot of material, splitting firewood and whatnot. But this guy is really, really nice for doing fine work. It's also really sharp enough that I can use it as a knife. And I mean, if I have a piece of wood, I can really carve it certain angles. So nice and light and nimble, and just something fun to mess around with. So that's what this is. I got a runny nose, smoke. Here's my outbound blade. You guys have seen this before if you're a regular viewer. So a little bit of a tactical feel with this guy. Big old thick blade. Not really a whole lot to say about that I haven't already said in previous videos. So that's my bush knife, my main bush knife. And I'll go ahead and lay this down and show all three of my knives side by side actually. Okay, so here are my three main knives that I take with me. A couple sheaths here, nothing special, just regular knife sheath. So like I was saying, this is my main bush knife. It's my outbound. Here I have my Camillus knife, very thin, excellent for food prep, and that's what I use this for. Nice rubberized handle, non-slip, very, very light knife. Use that basically just for food prep. And then I got my Ruco, which is also a very nice knife. I ran the spine of this on my belt sander to bring it down to 90 degree, and this is what I use for pretty much every general task: lighting fires, cutting rope, whatever I need to do that's not heavy like this. So this is for heavier tasks, this is for lighter tasks. So those are the three knives that I carry with me. So I actually have a fourth knife that I forgot to mention. This is just it's actually a piece of leather out of an old wallet that I used to have, and I've gone ahead and cut it and used that hole punch I showed you earlier to punch the holes in, and just tie it together with a little bit of jute twine and pull this out of here. So the knife out of the sheath. It's a very small knife. It's another Camillus knife, very small, very sharp, and use this for some general tasks and a little bit more food prep. Not major food prep, mainly for trimming around like chicken fat or any of that nasty stuff. This is kind of a little bit more nimble than using this big guy. So also another little knife that I carry with me. Alright guys, so that's pretty much my Bushcraft kit. Obviously I don't carry all those knives with me when I go. I'll either take, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 of them, whatever I have planned. Trying to think if I covered everything. So like I said before, I didn't bring my synthetic mummy sleeping bag that I like to bring. My cutting board and my wire cooking rack I didn't bring. Last night's video I brought a large wok, a cooking wok that I made the chili in. I also have that when I bring my sled. I'll put all that stuff in my sled and pull it behind me. But I think that is basically about it. And I'm frozen. This fire's almost done. I gotta get home. I'm cold. So just wanted to get out. Like I said, I was out camping last night and came home and wanted to get this video done, because in another week to 2 weeks from now, I'm going to be going out and starting my own bushcraft base camp. And I'm going to do 3 nights in the woods. I think it's going to be 3 nights. But I'm going to take this guy, the One Tigress tarp tent. I'm going to be taking my ammo can wood stove. And I think I'm going to do 2 nights in the hot tent. And then the 3rd and final night I'm going to do out next to a long fire in the bushcraft camp. So that'll be fun. So stick around for that video. But yeah, I just wanted to go through some of the stuff because I know I'm going to get asked, what's this, what's that. If you guys are looking to see some of the stuff in action, definitely check out that video, because I'll be bringing most of this stuff. And I'm frozen. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to drop it down in the comment section. Head on over to my Instagram, Lone Wolf Wild Camping, if you guys want to check out some trip photos and little pieces of gear and whatnot. And I hope that this maybe gave you guys some ideas to put in your kit, or maybe you want to switch your kit up. And yeah, so like I said, don't be afraid to ask questions. And I'm gonna go for this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.